Man, hit that thumbs up, man. We fight this algorithm. So I've been noticing a lot of hatred going on. That word, my people throw that word around, but you know what I mean. So Deion Sanders, obviously they got blasted by Oregon, the team that was ranked 9 spots ahead of them. Just watching that game, the size of the players compared to Colorado, it just looked like you were watching an NFL team versus a CFL team, right? You know, it's a big top rated school. They couldn't block anybody. Not making excuses, but I mean, you knew it was going to be a rout. And the coach made some comments, and they put it up there pregame, talking about they're fighting for clicks and wins, clicks and likes. That's what they play for. And I find it crazy because the same people that's criticizing Deion, saying that he does everything for himself and likes and clicks, as content creators, y'all are talking about him for the same likes and clicks. And that's what Whitlock, and Whitlock's one of the many. He's not the only one. But he's been, going in, like taking every advantage. I don't think he's done a show without mentioning Deion since the season started. Now, the question I want to know is if they continue to lose, because they were only projected to win one game this year, believe it or not, are y'all still going to continue to pump the Deion, algorithm? You're going to still continue to just drag him. You know what I mean? And it's like history lesson. This guy's been this image, this brand. He's been doing this since the 80s when he was at, Florida State, pulling up in a Corvette with Jerry curl juice dripping on his tracksuit with $600 shades. Like, he's always been like this. So he's used to it. You don't see Deion flinch when he's get criticized because this is who he is. And they know the threat, and he didn't make up the transfer portal, but that's a part of the system, and it's been around, and they know the impact and the threat that Deion opposes. So we get that. Now, Whitlock has been going on crazy. And like I said, Whitlock, I'm crazy. Like, Whitlock to me is starting to run off the few black people that did support him. When he first left Fox and then was on Outkick, they kicked him out. He wasn't there that long. Then he got with the Blaze. It's kind of like somewhat independent. When he first got that show, I was like, all right, let me see what he's talking about. You know what I mean? A lot of people, we don't really rock with Whitlock like that. But I was like, let me check this out. And I was kind of digging it. I'm not going to lie. Like, because he was talking from a traditionalist point of view, calling out what's what. It wasn't really politically driven that much at first. It wasn't a lot of Christianity talk like he does now. He forces that a lot on his show more than he used to. And used to have some pretty cool people, like Royce would come on, the girl would come on, the Steve Kim guy. It was cool. Kwame had a whole interview on the show. I was all right, like maybe Whitlock isn't what we thought he was. Maybe he now that he's no longer working for the ops, he's no longer working for the big corporation. So we kind of won some black folks over a little bit, and now you kind of turning a lot of people off. It's like it's not even criticism at this point. It's just like his personal jealousy of Deion. It's starting to get a little bothered. It's like, come on, man. Like he was that athlete because he played football too. He just wasn't good. He was that fat, chubby kid that played football, that was in the corner, and he was envious of the guy who was probably the quarterback, who had the girls, had the nice car. Everybody wanted to be him. Deion is that guy. And Whitlock was the guy who was jealous of him, who was on the same team, but nobody cared. Like, he is a personal jealousy, man. He just doesn't like the way he conducts business. But I'm like, for someone who always talks about how important family structure is and the black community, he's always calling that out, which we agree with. This man is a black man, and it's him and his son are doing something that's never been done before on any kind of level in sports. Like, why not applaud that? And instead, you like, oh, he's putting a target on the team's back because he wears shades. I'm like, what? I'm like, oh, he's 50 years old wearing shades. I'm like, Whitlock, you're 50-something years old and you've been wearing a hairpiece for a couple of years. Like, it's a lot of y'all out here having midlife crisis. Like, wearing shades. I mean, come on, bro. Who cares? Like, and it's a culture shift. Anytime you see a culture shift, they used to criticize Allen Iverson like this back in the day because he was the first NBA player really bringing that street, urban type of gear to the game. He wasn't wearing suits at the press conferences. He wasn't wearing suits when he sat out. You know what I mean? His mom was braiding his hair in the crowd. Like, AI was himself. It took the NBA a while to get used to that. Hell, even if you look at Bill Belichick, coaches didn't used to wear hoodies on the sideline. You wore a damn suit. he started wearing hoodies. Now the whole league wears whatever they want. You know what I mean? But when you I won't say a moderate or something, when you're doing your own thing, people are gonna come at you because it's not what they're used to seeing, and they're not used to seeing a coach, a cool coach. You know what I mean? Usually a coach is like an old white guy, like Joe Paterno, Penn State. You know what I mean? Nick Saban, Matt Brown. Like, that's what you're used to. Somebody called in Tariq Nasheed's show, and I don't know if it was a plant, but some white guy was saying we don't like the Deion Sanders stuff because black people have already taken over the sport. They make up 80% of the roster. Black quarterbacks are playing more than ever. All we got left is the coach. And now they've taken that. And I was like, wow, that's deep. You know what I mean? But I always thought about that. But yeah, now I don't know if that was a plant or not, but it was real. You know what I mean? That's the threat that they opposed to. And like I say, people like Whitlock, who's not white, I mean, obviously, it's just a jealousy thing. And you want to call him out for being flamboyant and playing for likes and clicks, but you're using him for likes and clicks as a content creator. I mean, every single day. I don't think he's let off him yet. I mean, and it's because Deion's doing all these interviews with everybody, Pat McAfee, Undisputed, this, the First Take, that one. Whitlock's trying to bait him into doing an interview. And Deion is not even giving him any reaction. That's just really what it is. And it's crazy because Whitlock, I don't know if he's trying to troll black people, but we all know about the Brett Favre thing, the Mississippi, welfare scandal. He didn't get any charges pressed, but everybody else went down. Brett Favre has been coming on Whitlock's show and using him and his platform to revamp his image. And I'm like, rather you think Brett is guilty or not, whatever. I mean, I don't think that's a good idea. I mean, to sit there and let him use your platform to rebuild his image, that might turn people off and they'd be like, oh no. You know what I mean? Like, nah, bro. And then I seen one episode a few weeks ago. They got Seth Joyner, Warren Sapp, and Brett was on the show. And Seth and Warren and them was cool. It was cool. Brett Favre was drunk off his ass. And people in the comments was like, oh, man, CTE, slurring his speech. No, he was drunk. All while talking about his Viking habit back in the day. No, ironically, he was drunk, bro. You come up, you gonna get this man your platform to rebuild his image, and he can't even be professional enough to come on the set sober. And then you bring him back on there again. I think he was on there yesterday. He brings him up there. I'm like, okay, so you letting Brett Favre pimp you out to rebuild his image on your show, all while tearing down Deion Sanders. I'm like, okay, Whitlock, you know what I mean? But that's on you. But I think he need to pump the brakes. Like I said, you're going to chase off the few black folks that do rock with you for different purposes. You know what I'm saying? But that's just what I think. But a lot of these people are just, and they loved it. It was like a celebration seeing Oregon just pounce on them. I'm like, it was like, okay, it was bad. I'm not defending the game. It was bad. But it looked like an NFL team versus a XFL team. That's what it looked like. And he knows they're not winning everything anytime soon. He said it. He's about 10 players away from really being competitive. Like they were set to win one game this whole year. So they've already overachieved. But there's nothing different that he's doing that some of these other coaches. Yeah, he brought media. Yeah, the media he's bringing is not the media they're used to. They're not used to seeing Lil Wayne bring out a college team. They're not used to seeing all these rappers on the sidelines and all of that. So that's just something that they're going to have to get used to because it's not going to stop. So let me know what y'all think. Hit the like button in the comments. Let me know. I'm out.